Woo!
Everyone, welcome to the Front Yard Fantasy live stream podcast draft day Dynasty doo-doo dance-off.
Ooh, doo-doo dance-off. I
It's
like
better.
that.
It's better than the dingling dance-off we had before.
Yes.
That one got a little
Very
weird.
messy. Very messy.
Really messy. So the doo-doo dance-off should be much less messy.
Much cleaner. Much cleaner. Doo-doo dance-off.
Significantly cleaner. Speaking of doo-doo, not so much a dance-off. Everyone except for you, Jail, on our PrizePicks selections over the weekend was doo-doo water. Now, I'm going to give myself credit where I deserved it. I loved your Kareem Hunt pick, so credit for me for loving your selection. But besides that, we all pooped the bed. There was some weird stuff going on in fantasy football this weekend.
Yeah, that was some pretty wild games.
Not to spoil fantasy horse tomorrow, but do you know who the number one wide receiver is so far? Unless someone does it tonight, unless Justin Jefferson or Adam Thielen beats him out.
I don't. I only looked at running backs.
It is Marquez Valdez-Scantling is currently the number one wide receiver on the week, if I remember correctly.
Wow.
Yeah, I wouldn't have gotten that with 10 guesses. I know he had a great game, but I would not have gotten that with 10 guesses if you gave it to me. So
that's pretty wild.
I think you're hosting. First you made it. I think
first.
I forgot exactly what I was going to say. I got so distracted by this achievement.
I'm hosting 10 horse.
You're hosting week 10 horse tomorrow. So if you want to throw that question in there, since Josh isn't here, you can go over that. Where is Josh today, by the way?
I think Josh is busy. He's busy rebirthing his grandmother, trying to bring her back through some ancient Mesopotamian ritual. I'm not quite sure on the details, but I know that he is in South/Central America.
South/Central.
South, and he is trying to find some ancient ruins to bring his grandma back. So
wow. Well, hopefully he's back tomorrow. Hopefully it's a successful day today. He's back, and then we'll have a guest on the stream tomorrow. For me to kick his butt in week 10 horse.
Oh yeah,
and Nana's butt.
Nana's butt.
But without Josh today, we have a special show. We are doing two things. One, we're going to go over our PrizePicks entry from the weekend. Wasn't great, but you know what? The wins and the losses, we show you guys all of it. And then we're going to do a Dynasty startup draft, the first 3 rounds. Just see kind of what that landscape looks like after 10 weeks of this season. I know there's some big movers for me. We'll see what it looks like. This was a wild week of fantasy. Put up 145 points and still lost this week.
Still lost.
I feel you there.
I put up like 66 points, and I'm pretty sure I still won. So kind of the opposite end of that spectrum.
Are you just trying to rub it in his face?
Tommy's.
Is that Tommy?
That's not Tommy. I'm just saying I beat Tommy with like 60 points or something. It's absurd. It was a weird week.
You're ruining your number 1 overall dynasty pick in that league.
No. It's because it's based off potential points, so it's okay.
Okay, so you might still be good to go. Your team is awful. I can't imagine another team is worse on potential than yours.
Thank you. It means so much to me.
You're welcome. Okay. Let's see. Let me share my screen and let's dive in and look at.
So you said I was the only one that got it right?
Yeah, let's pull it up. My entries.
Kareem Hunt hit the over.
Past entries. Yep. So your pick was Kareem Hunt with the over. He got 16.2 points. Nice job there. You nailed that. I selected DeAndre Swift to go under, and DeAndre Swift balled out. I thought that Washington defensive line was going to be able to handle him. I don't trust it. He looked awesome.
Where do you have him rest of the season? Like what tier are you putting him in with? Would you rather have Jonathan Taylor or DeAndre Swift rest of the season?
DeAndre Swift. I mean, just look at how they used him. They named him the starter, and then they put their money where their mouth was. And
Clyde Edwards-Helaire or DeAndre Swift? I've broken him.
DeAndre Swift, I think. I'm trusting the way they used him this week, because not only did they use him that way, it was 2 things. They named him the starter, and then they used him that way. Like those 2 things together, like they're showing that that's what they intend to do. And it worked magnificently against a pretty good defensive front against running backs. Like the Washington team is not a joke against the running back position.
No.
This has led me to believe that that's how they want to use DeAndre Swift. And I am buying into it. I'm excited. If you've got him on a team rest of the season, I think you're in a good spot.
James Robinson or DeAndre Swift?
James Robinson.
James Robinson. Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna trust the
Christian
production.
Christian McCaffrey or DeAndre Swift?
Christian McCaffrey, even if it's just for the playoffs. Unless you need a running back to make the playoffs, then DeAndre Swift.
Samaje Perine or DeAndre Swift?
CJ Anderson.
Oh, dang it.
Yeah.
That's the right answer.
What about you? Where do you put him? Let's just Jonathan Taylor, CEH, Antonio Gibson. Do you take DeAndre Swift over all three of those guys?
I think I take Gibson over Swift.
So that means you would take Gibson over CEH as well then?
See, I'm wondering if like recency bias is
for sure.
Here. I don't know, to be honest with you. I don't know. I think they're around the same place. DeAndre Swift, like I'm excited about. I'm buying into the narrative, but I don't know that like that narrative could not pan out, and it wouldn't be like, crazy shocking, you know?
No, it wouldn't be crazy at all. But I like it's not just narrative. Know what I mean? They planted the narrative. The narrative was we are naming DeAndre Swift our starter, and then we saw it. I think I agree. Let's see. Sean came in and said he'd rather have Swift over CEH and Gibson. I think I'm in the same boat, but man, it just hurts my feelings to say that with CEH. And it's not just one great game from DeAndre Swift. You know what? He's put up a couple great games, but one game where he's a clear-cut full-time starter in that backfield.
Right.
But CEH doesn't have that. He's not the clear-cut full-time starter in his backfield either. So I don't know. Okay. Oh, sorry. Sean said he started Chubb, Hunt, and Jacobs and Tom Brady and got that much-needed win in his 3-6 league. Pretty much going with Chubb and Hunt and Jacobs every week going forward, no matter what.
Solid crew.
I completely am on board with that. I would love to start both Chubb and Hunt. No worries about them being on the same team. You saw this weekend, they can still be productive, and that was in a low-scoring game, and they both had great games. Chubb's could have been better. Chubb's could have been 6 points better, yeah.
I was really hoping that your and my game would come down to that Chubb didn't score that touchdown.
But it didn't.
But it's probably not going to.
It's probably not going to. We'll see.
We'll see how Nick Foles. I have Nick Foles. Who else do I have? Nick Foles, and that's it. Nick Foles, I guess.
And how much are you down by?
Oh, a lot. 41.
Okay, so Nick Foles needs to have the game of his career. You know what? I feel comfortable in that one, but in our other Dynasty League, I'm up by 67, right? You would think that, and they have 2 players left. That seems pretty comfortable. But they've got Dalvin Cook and Adam Thielen. That's possible. Not likely, but possible. 67 points from those 2 guys would be wild, but not.
I'm not counting on it from Thielen. We'll get into it, actually.
Yeah, we'll get into it
when we get into our picks. But
you know what?
Dalvin Cook, I don't know. I'm not I'm not going to be the guy that bets against Dalvin Cook again.
Me neither. Okay. Then you want to jump into it? That was a good segue.
Yeah.
I was thinking since Josh is missing, you and I would each put together a 2-pick entry for tonight. How does that sound?
That sounds excellent.
I'll let you go first. I'll pick up the scraps. What players are you thinking?
All right. So again, I was looking at this and thinking, man, I could honestly go either way on Dalvin Cook. Where did you go?
Oh, I think I'm having camera problems. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yeah.
Okay, then just keep going. Right. I can hear you.
Right. So I don't know. I don't want to be like Chicago's run defense is pretty good. Their defense in general is pretty good. I could see Dalvin Cook getting hurt, or it's just not really panning out, or the game script not going his way, and him hitting the under on this. But again, I don't feel that comfortable making that call, and then he goes off for another 39-point week or whatever. Adam Thielen, on the other hand, I think is a little bit more reasonable. That 14.5 line is fair enough. So I think I'm going to go under on Adam Thielen. I'm gonna guess that they're going to be able to shut him down, and maybe they'll rely heavily on the run game.
Yeah, Adam Thielen. I agree with that. I was going to put that in my entry if you didn't. Adam Thielen under 14.5. He scored like less than 6 in the last 2 games. I think he's got 5 catches for like 65 something yards in the last 2 games combined. And the Chicago secondary is a really good unit. Yeah, not just good, excellent. I don't think this is the week he gets it going. Not that he's a bad receiver, but I don't think this is the bounce back week. I like that pick.
And even if he gets, even if he has like a decent week, like he could land at 14. But I'm just hoping here that they're able to shut him down.
Yeah.
All right, who's your pick, Simon?
Oh, let's do we'll each put one on each entry. You know what? I like that way too. Okay. That's a better way to do it. I was gonna do you do one and I do one, but let's do teamwork. While we're doing wide receivers, I'll stick with the wide receiver train. This Minnesota secondary, while the Chicago secondary is great, the Minnesota secondary is awful, like really bad. Opposing wide receivers are feasting against them. Let's see, where do they rank? I had that pulled up a second ago. They're giving up 31.2 points per game to the opposing wide receivers. That's 4th, just behind Seattle, Dallas, and Atlanta. Minnesota's right there with them. Mm-hmm. Oh wait, I lied. They're 2nd. I hadn't sorted. It's Seattle, then Minnesota. That's it. They are 4 points per game behind Seattle. Seattle's in a league of their own, but they're terrible against wide receivers. And Darnell Mooney has been on the rise recently. I think Nick Foles can connect with him. He's had, I think, 5 receptions in the last 2 games, and they're going against a matchup that's perfect for him. And I like the line at 11 there. So I'm going to say Darnell Mooney over on this one. Okay. So a power play, $20.
So do you, Tim, and Josh are going to get watered, right? You got a water bet?
Oh, it says projections have changed. Okay. Your Adam Thielen line is down to 14 instead of 14.5.
Doesn't change it.
Doesn't change it. You still think he's under?
Yep.
Okay. Just making sure.
But they must be listening.
Yeah, they're listening and they're changing the lines as we make our entries. So what were you saying?
Clever. What was I saying?
It was based on my Darnell Mooney over 11 pick.
It is
and something that I must think. Okay.
Oh, you guys have to get watered, right? Because you were wrong on Friday on that pick?
Sure. Is that what we're doing?
I'm
keeping track of it, but we can 100% do that. Let's see. What did Sean? Sean said that DeAndre Hopkins Hail Mary touchdown literally won my one league while simultaneously losing me another.
Ouch.
Ooh, fantasy football went 3-2 this week though after 2 1-4 weeks. You know what? To take some 1-4 weeks and with the same teams go 3-2. That's not a bad week. And that DeAndre Hopkins catch. Oh my gosh. My girlfriend was like doing something in another room and then she like just ran out because I was just like screaming at the top of my lungs. She was like, I haven't heard you scream for football like that in a long time. And I was like, you have to see this.
I've heard that scream. It's terrifying.
It looked like a Renaissance portrait. Like him, like if you freeze frame him and there's a guy like on either side of him and his hands are just slightly above and everyone's reaching. Like it legitimately looks like a Renaissance era painting of him going up to catch that ball. I've probably watched it 1,000 times. Red Zone, I think, played it 1,000 times, and I watched it 1,000 on my own. Oh my God.
I can't tell I know that I'm the biggest DeAndre Hopkins fan. And so I know that there's some element of skill versus some element of chance, but I cannot tell in that play how much was what on both sides. Like Kyler Murray, basically threading a needle, like him throwing that ball perfectly. Any higher, any lower, it's gone.
I mean, there is an element of chance. Yeah, not just on the run, like on the sprint.
On just not the right. Yeah, he's totally his weight is shifted the wrong way, and he tosses that perfectly. And then DeAndre Hopkins, like you said, just perfect extension, perfect spot, catches, brings it down. Everything had to go right for that to happen, and it's amazing.
There's certainly an element of chance, but in order to even have that luck, you need to have the skill to make that luck possible.
For sure. I could not go out there and even by chance do that. But I'm saying, I'm just curious, what is going on in his head as he's I got to go out for this ball. I know it's probably all instinct at this point, but it's crazy. I love watching plays like that.
I was screaming all night. I just screamed through my sleep the entire time, actually, just thinking about that play. Oh my God, what a catch! Okay,
shut up.
We are making another entry
Another
now.
one.
I'm going first this time, and you can have the scraps.
Thank you.
I don't think Chicago is going to have to, run the ball very much against this Vikings defense. I think they're going to be able to throw even with Nick Foles at quarterback. The Vikings secondary is awful, like I said, which is why I picked Darnell Movie over. In the same breath, Darnell Movie owner.
Got DVDs, Blu-rays, what you need.
With the same logic, same game script, and with David Montgomery not suiting up for the Bears, I am going to be selecting Ryan Nall, and I'm going to be taking the under 8.5. I don't think he has enough to get it done.
Stinky son of a gun.
It's kind of low line, but I think it's reasonable. And I just don't think he quite gets there. I don't think they need to use him that way. Though they have primarily used him as a pass catching back, which is the one concern. Like if he gets 5 catches, he's going to hit this line. I just don't see the game going that way.
You stole my pick.
I apologize.
I was going to do it because
I don't think it's a lock. I don't think it's a lock. Like some of these, maybe I feel confident about. I think there's a chance he gets involved in the passing game and gets 5 receptions and then just comes out with 10 points. And you're perfectly happy if you started him. But that's not how I see the game playing out. I will take the under a little hesitantly, but that's what I think. So,
David Montgomery has been ruled out, right?
Yep, I believe so.
So even so, last week he did get 13.5 points in PPR, which is the scoring is roughly based off of that. He played 14% of snaps, had 4 receptions for 35 yards and a touchdown. I don't think that that's like a lock at all. I think that it's likely that he won't be as featured. But
well, and wasn't there rumblings of Lamar Miller making his debut tonight as well?
I had not heard that.
I could see Lamar Miller stealing a bunch of those touches. I don't. Oh, and there's Sean just came in. What's the Lamar Miller line set at? I don't think there is a Lamar Miller.
Yeah, they've not. Probably because there's too much uncertainty there.
Yeah, you don't even know if he's really going, how much work he's going to see, if he's going to see work. So I think that's why he's not on the board. That's just another element that could take away points from Ryan Nall.
Ryan Nall.
He's not a face like that is not getting 8.5 points tonight.
Why is he leaning his head back to take a picture? Check out his chin. Ryan
Nall. University of Toledo. I don't know where he went to college.
University of Ryan Nall.
Let's see. Where did Ryan Nall go to college?
Man, now I have to pick a new pick because you've stolen mine.
Oregon State. I was way off. Okay. Let's see. Sean is asking us who gets drafted first next year in redraft season long, Mahomes or Kyler? I still think Mahomes gets drafted first, but Kyler may very well be the second quarterback off the board.
Yeah, Kyler's not having the same type of like hyped season as Mahomes did.
Man, but he's killing it.
He is. Don't get me wrong. He's performing super well. It's just the hype is different, and so I think that will ultimately affect his draft position in the upcoming year.
Yeah, Mahomes still has the name.
Yeah.
No, Kyler Murray he's got 271.4 points so far through this season. The next closest is Josh Allen with 248.94, and he's played one more game than Kyler.
Wow.
Kyler's averaging 30.16 fantasy points per game.
Wow.
That's bananas. The one league I have him in, I am doing very well in. Apple MVP says confirmed. Ryan Nall is the next Peyton Hillis.
Peyton Hillis. Could be.
Okay, so Dale, since I stole your pick,
gosh,
who are you going with to fill out this entry?
I kind of want to go Allen Robinson over, but I think that's a good. Is that
where we're going? That is a really good line.
I didn't want to have to take that one because that's why I wanted to go Nall. I
do
also
either of the quarterback lines stand out to you, or do you think those are good as well?
I am hesitant to take quarterback lines often. I feel like I'm wrong very often on them. We lost you again. You there?
Hello?
Hello?
You can hear me.
I can hear you. I took the under on Joe Flacco. What was it, last week? And that did not work out well for me. You know what? I'm not going to take a quarter. I'm gonna go ahead and say Allen Robinson over.
Allen Robinson over. Can you guys see me yet? No, not yet.
No.
Oh, there it is. Okay. Allen Robinson over 17. I think that's a great line. This is the secondary. If you're going to have two wide receivers perform well with Darnell Mooney, Allen Robinson, this is the team that it's going to happen against. I think I was tempted this time to go on the other side of the ball and take the under on Justin Jefferson as well.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. It's scary for me to bet against both of the talented wide receivers there in Minnesota, even against such a good secondary. I just feel like someone's going to have a touchdown. And with a line at 13.5, I feel like Justin Jefferson has a decent shot of hitting that.
You know what? I think I'm switching it. I'm going under on Allen Robinson.
You're going under on Allen Robinson?
I'm going under, yeah.
Okay.
I took the under on my – I have another PrizePicks pick in, and I did take – actually, I have an over and an under pick on him. So I guess they cancel out. But that is a really good line. Like, I'm not sure that I would – if it's any lower, I'm going over. If it's any higher, I'm easily going under. So, well done, Dylan.
No interest in the tight ends?
No.
Yeah.
No
yeah,
interest at all.
I thought about if Irv Smith was playing and he had a similar line, I would have gone over on Irv Smith because he's been playing lights out. And if the Chicago defense is great against wide receiver or really great against wide receiver and great against tight ends, like they're still doing well against tight ends, but I would have taken the over because that might have been the soft spot for Kirk Cousins to try to exploit this defense any way he could. But I don't trust Kyle Rudolph. I think he's had maybe 2 games over that line all season. I'm not positive, but so we're good with this. Ryan Nall under, Allen Robinson under.
Yeah, I'm trying to decide if I like the Jimmy Graham line any better.
Jimmy Graham at 9.1. It's a strong line for a tight end.
I don't know if he's been playing well.
Like that's high, but he's been playing very well.
Feels high. What's his line?
Sorry, I completely said I did my analysis a little bit backwards. I apologize. No, I did it right. Sorry, my brain's messing up.
You know what? I'm going to go under on Kyle Rudolph. Switching it up on the fly. Under
on Kyle Rudolph. Let's take Allen, unless you want to do a 3 pick.
No, Allen Robinson's too scary.
Okay. Under Kyle Rudolph, 6.5. I think unless he gets a touchdown, you're probably safe there.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Lock it in.
Locked in. Man, Ryan Nall and Kyle Rudolph. That's not a pair of guys I thought we'd be spending time talking about in the offseason. So our 2 entries, we've got Darnell Mooney over, Adam Thielen over 11 points. And this is PPR. That's how the scoring works. We can show you guys the full scoring in a second. Adam Thielen under 14, Kyle Rudolph under 6.5, Ryan Nall under 8.5. These are 2 separate entries. Our 4 pick hadn't been going out, so we're going to test our luck with some 2 pick entries tonight, see if we can do a little bit better, and we'll go from there. See, we have a question from Claudio. A-Rob or McLaurin in PPR fantasy playoffs considering schedule? I'm going to have to remind myself of their schedules.
Yeah, let me look at their schedules real quick.
Let's see. So weeks 14, 15, 16, the Bears play the Texans, the Vikings, and the Jaguars. That's a great playoff schedule.
McLaurin has San Francisco, 49ers, Seahawks, and Panthers. So also not bad.
Not bad. Whew.
I think McLaurin. I think I would go McLaurin. It's not by a ton, but what do you think, Simon?
I'm struggling with that one. That's real close. Can you tell me the playoff schedule for McLaurin again?
Yes. It is 49ers, Seahawks, Panthers.
Okay. 49ers, Seahawks, Panthers. You know what? I think I'm actually going to go Allen Robinson. I love his playoff schedule.
They are they're neck and neck. So either way, I don't think you can go wrong.
It is very close for me, but Allen Robinson has the the Texans, the Vikings, and the Jaguars. The Vikings are the second worst against wide receiver. The Jaguars are the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8th worst against the wide receiver. And the Texans are 11th. So like all of these, the best team they're playing there is 11th against the wide receiver. Allen Robinson is, I think they're probably comparable talents, Allen Robinson and Terry McLaurin.
Yeah, they're very similar.
I'm going A-Rob by a hair. And it's just strength. It's just the schedule coming down to it.
Pay attention to how A-Rob plays tonight, because he'll play the Vikings again in the playoffs. So if for whatever reason he gets shut down, or he's not able to get it going, that might give you a little bit more information.
Though I doubt it. I highly doubt this Minnesota secondary is god awful. Okay, Sean, what do you guys feel about the market for Jordan Howard since he got released today by the Dolphins? Do you think the Bears sign him back again? I think someone will sign him. I mean, you see Kalen Ballage get signed. You see Frank Gore get signed. I think Jordan Howard still has something left to give.
Who needs
I don't know who's going to sign him, though. The Bears definitely could be a team that could sign him. 49ers collect running backs to injure.
Yeah, add to their list.
But it looks like they've got some guys coming back after their bye. So I'm not sure they're a real landing spot for him.
Yeah, for sure. Who else? Oh, maybe Texans. I don't know when David Johnson will be back.
See, Claudia says, I pray to God he doesn't go to the Eagles again. I don't think so. They seem to be they got all their running backs involved this weekend. Corey Clement, Boston Scott, just touchdowns for everyone.
Boston Scott, man, that one massive run he had looked amazing.
The Corey Clement touchdown really hurt my feelings.
That cracked
me up. As a Miles Sanders.
That's what I love about fantasy, though. That's it's like divine humor or something. Like there's just like cosmic force. It's just like, you know what? Let me throw a Corey Clement touchdown in week 10 of the 2020
perfect.
season. Yeah,
that's exactly what's needed. Okay. You know what? Enough of me getting bitter about Miles Sanders not getting that touchdown. We've got a mock draft to do. And I invited you to it if you want to claim one of the spots, but you and I are each going to draft from 6 different spots. You're going to take spots 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, and 11. So the odd numbers, and I'm going to take the even numbered spots. Let's see. Let's make sure I have CPU auto pick off. How do we do CPU auto pick? Oh, I did no time limit, so we'll set the time limit to 8 hours. Perfect, right?
Mm-hmm. Buckle up.
Update.
Be here a while.
Yeah, we're each going to take 8 hours of analysis on every single pick, and then we'll go from there.
Filibuster style. Can't stop talking.
Let's see. I'm going to hide this, show you guys the full board. I guess you can see the full board even with that up. But you've got the first pick, JL. And so everyone knows this is a PPR Dynasty startup draft is what we're doing. I don't know what JL's philosophy is going to be here. It's been a couple years since we've done a Dynasty startup draft together. We've done a bunch of redraft drafts, a bunch of Dynasty rookie drafts. We have not been in a Dynasty startup draft together.
We should get one going this offseason.
Yeah, let's do a Superflex one. You and I are not in any Superflex Dynasty leagues. Let's get a Superflex Dynasty league going.
All right, I'm about that. All right, so this might come as a surprise. Probably not. I'm going Alvin Kamara here.
Alvin Kamara over Christian McCaffrey?
Over Christian McCaffrey.
Okay. Can you select him, or do I have to start it?
I cannot. I think begin draft.
Yep, there we go. There we go. Now you should be able to take him. So you're going Alvin Kamara over all the wide receivers, over. Yep. Okay. In Dynasty for me, and this
is not super flex, right?
This is not super flex, but in Dynasty for me, especially in startup drafts, I'm looking for pieces to completely build around, and for more than 1 year, probably 2 years, 3 years. And the certainty is in the wide receiver position. If there's a huge tier break, like I'm going to take the running back, but at this position, I'm probably taking my number 1 overall dynasty wide receiver, and I'm going to build around him at number 2 overall. And I'm going to go DeAndre Hopkins with the second pick.
Scantling.
Marquez Valdez-Scantling, wide receiver number 1. So I'm going to take DeAndre Hopkins with the second overall pick in this dynasty startup. I know some people have a newly appointed wide receiver 1 in dynasty. I'm not quite there yet. He's honestly probably my wide receiver 2. We'll see where he goes. But we're on to your pick, JL, after I took DeAndre Hopkins.
That's wild, man. I wonder, what was his ADP in dynasty? I'll look that up. I wonder what his ADP going into the season was, because people were sleeping on him. All right, I'm going to go ahead and go with the guy that you stupidly passed up, but I can't select it because it's not my
team. I gotta select them.
I'm going to go CMC.
Okay. I'll probably do this on my phone from now on. That way it doesn't pop up like this every time we do it.
Where is he?
All the way at the bottom. Because he's out. Christian McCaffrey. Yeah, that was the other guy I was considering there. Honestly, I maybe should have taken him, but I'm going to take the safety of probably the best wide receiver in the NFL at that position. And a close second here, I'm going to go another wide receiver. This is the new hotness, but I'm a believer now. Let's see. Do you know who I'm taking, JL?
Derrick Henry?
Nope.
Aaron Jones.
I'm drafting DK Metcalf.
Wow.
Lots of people have already moved him up to their wide receiver 1 overall in Dynasty. I've still got DeAndre Hopkins ahead of him, but it's close. I think DK Metcalf after next year may be cemented as the top Dynasty asset. So I'm going to get in on him early here. The next group of running backs, I don't know how much they've got left. Saquon obviously is a top-tier talent, but that's a couple years of injuries in a row now. I'm going to take the safety with what I think is the next superstar wide receiver.
That's wild. That is wild.
Tim agrees with me. He says, I heart Metcalf. Well, there you go. There he is. DeAndre Hopkins and DK Metcalf.
In Dynasty, that's why.
He does. Smart man. Okay, JL, you're on the clock.
All right. I'm just going to keep this going. I mean, maybe we just keep this pattern going. I'm going to go ahead and go Saquon here. Obviously, you're not going to get the benefit the rest of the season, but I'm thinking Dynasty and rest of the season isn't as important.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Rest of the season, we're assuming this is a startup draft. You're probably not playing this season. This is for going forward. We're just using the information we have from this season to start making better picks.
Yep.
Now, this is where I'm tempted to take a running back, but
Duke Johnson's available, I think.
I still think I'm going to go wide receiver here. And
Ryan
there's 2 wide receivers. Ryan Nall would be next running back off the board for
Toledo.
me. University of Toledo of Oregon State. Ryan Nall. Oregon State University.
Ryan Nall, the Oregon State.
The Oregon. Ryan Nall. That's a beaver. And for anyone that didn't know, Ryan Nall, go Beavers. Okay, since I'm not taking Ryan Nall, I'm taking a wide receiver, and there's 2 wide receivers that are real close for me. Tyreek Hill and Devontae Adams. I don't know which one I want to take here. Neither one of their Patrick Mahomes is obviously younger, but while I do look ahead in Dynasty, I never look more than 3 years ahead, and I think Aaron Rodgers is probably the Green Bay quarterback for the next 3 years. What do you think?
Probably, yeah.
Probably. I know they drafted a dude in the second round. Just a dude.
Just a dude.
Jordan Love. Or was that was in the first round? I apologize. They drafted A.J. Dillon in the second round. But I think Aaron Jones is still Aaron Rodgers. Too many Aarons.
Too many Aarons.
Too many Aarons. So I'm going to – I don't know. This is really tough for me. This is where they're so close. I could see the argument for either. I'm going to go Tyreek Hill. With Patrick Mahomes there in Kansas City. He's the wide receiver 1 for that team, and he probably will be for the foreseeable future. He's so fast.
So fast.
So fast. Okay, we've got a nice pattern going on, JL. What are you doing here?
You're leaving me all the incredible running backs here. I'm going to go Zeke. I I don't love Zeke the rest of this season, but I do love Zeke next season when Dak is back. Dak is back. Did we lose you, Simon?
I'm here.
There you are.
Let me change the settings on my camera real quick, see if that fixes it. And you tell us about your pick.
Well, I'm going to go Zeke. That is Ezekiel Elliott of the Dallas Cowboys. Some people call him Zeke. Some people call him Ezekiel. His middle name is Walter. Not many people know that.
What's his favorite movie?
His favorite movie is the Rugrats movie. You know, the one where they go to like Paris.
Rugrats in Paris.
Rugrats in Paris, yeah.
Yeah, that's a great one.
It is a good one.
Is that the one where Angelica loses Cynthia?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, yeah, great movie. I understand why Zeke loves that one. Is that why you took him here?
That's mostly why I took him here. Also, great fantasy asset.
Yeah, none of that B movie nonsense that some of these other running backs like.
Hey! Don't disrespect B movie. Jerry Seinfeld is a genius.
Jerry Seinfeld's a genius, but
Jerry Seinfeld.
Okay, well then you made my decision easier here. I'm doing it again. And I think maybe this comes down to our draft philosophy. In dynasty startups, I'm going to value wide receivers heavily early because you can build a foundation to build around with rookies and that rookie running backs, other running back talent for years. Like you can be set at the wide receiver core for 3-4 years and make moves elsewhere. Whereas with running back, there's a lot more turnover at that position. Like a lot. Just think about dynasty startups 3 years ago. Todd Gurley, Melvin Gordon. These guys are depreciated. Doug Martin. I'm going to fight you if you bring up that trade again. So I'm going to take the wide receiver I was debating with last time, and I'm going to draft Devontae Adams here.
All right. No, I actually agree with that philosophy. It's typically how I draft for my teams. One thing I have noticed, though, in the last 4 or 5 years of playing Dynasty, they're not as easy to trade. If you can get one of these high caliber running backs, people's perception of the value doesn't really change. So while Simon is absolutely correct that the turnover is higher, you can typically flip like if you had Alvin Kamara this season, you could flip him for probably DeAndre Hopkins and some.
It's true. I moved even some of the depreciating assets. It was Lev Bell plus Cooper Kupp. So it wasn't just Lev, but it was Lev Bell plus Cooper Kupp for George Kittle.
Yeah.
I know some people probably aren't a fan of moving that for a tight end, but I got value out of Lev Bell, even though he was a heavily depreciating asset. So I get what you're saying. 100%.
Yeah.
100%
but I do agree with you. I tend to enjoy getting wide receivers on my team because their careers are much longer.
Well, if you've got any interest in an Alvin Kamara share, maybe after this season, we could talk in our Dynasty League.
That's fair. I just traded Josh for Saquon.
Oh, man, maybe I don't want to trade you out. If you had Alvin Kamara and Saquon next year, that would be wild.
Any interest in OBJ?
Me? I don't know. Let's talk after the season. Trade deadline's upon us. I'm not making any trades, and I'm making a championship push with this team right now. We'll see. If Alvin Kamara can deliver me a title, we might ship him off. We'll see, though.
Ship him off. Nice.
With glory, with honor. Saying thank you for your service, Alvin Kamara.
Of course.
But like we were talking about, running backs depreciate quickly. I was talking to Leanne, my girlfriend, about that the other day, and she didn't care, but she's really nice and listens. But I just went on and on about how, like, at the end of the season, I think I'm going to try to trade Alvin Kamara because this is his peak value. Like, there's no way his value is higher than it is at the end of this season. I just don't see it happening. And I might want to try to cash in on that. And Leanne was like, yeah, cool. Yeah, what do you – that's a cool trade.
Did you take the trash out?
Did you finish the laundry?
Are you talking about fantasy football?
Okay. John Luke, you're on the clock. What are you doing here? You keeping the pattern up?
I feel like I shouldn't keep it up, but I kind of want to. I really like Dalvin Cook here. I would consider Michael Thomas. I think I'm going to take Michael Thomas here. I'm going to break the pattern.
Okay. You stole my next pick. For me, I don't know. You know what? You can explain your pick right here.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a good value for him. He's not having a great year, but Dynasty long term, he's incredibly talented. He's going to be relevant for a long time. And so, if I can get that value this late in that first round, I'll take it.
For me, the guy who selected 4 wide receivers ahead of him. The only reason Michael Thomas is 5th on my board is because of Drew Brees, and his probable retirement at the end of this season. I need to see a little bit more of Michael Thomas with Jameis Winston, if Jameis Winston's going to be the long-term quarterback solution there. And if it is Taysom Hill, then my value of Michael Thomas drops way down because I don't think Taysom Hill's that great of a passer. I also don't think he'll be the full-time quarterback in New Orleans after Drew Brees retires.
Yeah, I don't think so either. Even if they draft someone new, I think it's going to be sort of like a DeAndre Hopkins situation where quarterback play is just not going to affect him as much.
You think so?
I think it will affect some, but I think it's temporary. Even if he has a bad, even if Jameis is starting for a year or two. One, I don't think that's necessarily bad.
Oh, no, I think Jameis is great for fantasy wide receivers.
Yeah.
I just need to see him with Michael Thomas a little bit more.
Yeah.
I saw the funniest take on Taysom Hill the other day, or most accurate. It was a little bit funny, but I just loved the way they put it. They said Taysom Hill is the second string quarterback, and if Drew Brees gets injured, Taysom Hill is still the second string quarterback. He's always, no matter who's the starter, Taysom Hill's the backup. So Taysom Hill is just always the backup quarterback, even if the starter gets injured.
What happens when they run out?
Taysom Hill's the backup. No matter what happens, Taysom Hill will always be the backup quarterback.
Every play is just a wildcat.
I think that's perfect. Okay, so that puts me back on the clock, and I'm also going to break my pattern, and I'm going to take the guy that you mentioned. Yeah, he's a little injury prone, but oh my gosh, is he so good. Back here at the end of the first round, I would love to have a year or two of this top level production from one of the best runners in the league. I'm going to take Dalvin Cook here. My first non-wide receiver pick. And JL, you forced my hand by taking Michael Thomas.
I hate you.
So you're up.
Oh, this is where it gets a little more tricky.
Yeah, this is where it gets kind of fun, right? There's a bunch of different directions you could go here.
There is a bunch. I'm considering AJ Brown. It doesn't feel like I can't believe I'd be saying that.
No, I mean, I get it 100%. What about
Clyde Edwards-Helaire?
Any of the Tampa Bay wide receivers tickling your fancy?
No, none of them. I'm gonna go Aaron Jones here.
Aaron Jones.
No, I'm gonna go Josh Jacobs here.
Okay, that was actually going to be my next pick.
Which one?
Josh Jacobs.
Yeah.
So you took him. I think Josh Jacobs is great value there. I mean, just look at what he did this weekend. He's always capable of pushing something like that out. His consistency has been a little not great this year, but he's a top tier talent on a team that feeds him the ball.
Mm-hmm.
Bird up, Josh Jacobs. I sent Kevron a link the other day on Twitter to the Lizzo Up. He, of course, had already seen it, but if you guys haven't seen it, go watch Lizzo Up, the worst show on TV. Okay, I'm on the clock. What are we going to do here? This is where it gets a little bit tricky for me. The AJ Brown is a player I'm definitely considering here. And then the wide receivers for Tampa Bay, Chris Godwin, Mike Evans. Both of those guys are in consideration here.
No, it's funny. Like when we did this rewind in the beginning of the season, maybe like 4 games in, I believe you took Calvin Ridley late first, right?
Yeah, for rest of season.
Was that redraft or was that Dynasty?
That was redraft.
Gotcha.
Calvin Ridley's definitely up for consideration here. And despite the disappointing seasons, DJ Moore and Amari Cooper, you could talk about them here. Amari Cooper's was off to a killer start to the season before the quarterback situation devolved. I mean, he's still having a decent year, but he was on like top 5 pace for the rest of the season before that injury. Another player you consider here at the end of the first, you could take Travis Kelce or George Kittle. You could grab one of those tight ends. That's a hot commodity.
I'm not doing that in Dynasty 12 team.
Man, this is tough. But I know you might mock me for this pick.
I love picks like that.
Let's see. Because it goes against my ethos. It goes against my love.
Your pathos. Your logos.
I'm going to draft Chris Godwin here.
Wow. That is surprising.
Yeah, I think he might be a better dynasty asset than Mike Evans. Just a little bit more consistent, and I think he is the wide receiver one on that team. I don't know how many more years of Tom Brady they have left, but I think Chris Godwin's the right pick. My heart says Mike Evans. My brain says Chris Godwin. So since this is a mock, we're going with the brain. If this was a real draft, I probably would have gone Mike Evans.
I would have definitely made fun of you for going Mike Evans here.
And it is still my pick. Is this where we go Mike Evans? No. This is where
I talked myself into it.
No. Right here, we're going to go with maybe the best runner in the NFL. Pure runner. We're going to draft.
You said that about Dalvin Cook.
I said maybe the best pure runner. They could both maybe be the best pure runner. Derrick Henry is my pick here.
Nice.
I don't know. I don't know how much wheel is left on his tread.
Wheel is left on his tread.
But I thought after the number of carries he had last season, we were going to see a sharp drop off this year, and it just hasn't happened. I think he might just be broken. Like you can't apply the rules to him like you apply them to other players.
Yeah, he is a cheat code.
Okay.
It's funny. I was thinking about that. Like, I wonder what Vrabel's mindset was when he took over and was just like, yeah, they're not using this Heisman winner at all. Maybe if we just use him, and boom, instantly made the team 50% better.
Have we tried that? Have we tried just giving him the ball a bunch of times? No. Okay. Let's give that a test. Who are you going here, JL? Probably need to pick up the pace on these last two rounds.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Aaron Jones.
Aaron Jones?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think second round is probably good value for him. This tier of running backs, honestly, you get outside of the Alvin Kamara, Christian McCaffrey, Saquon, Zeke, Dalvin. I get a little nervous taking them over some of the wide receivers available here, just because, like I said, I like to build my dynasty teams around this solid core of wide receivers. Mm-hmm. But you can't deny the talent and the production from the guys like Aaron Jones, Derrick Henry, Josh Jacobs. So this is where I'm going to take the wide receiver that you actually mentioned earlier.
Dang it.
It might seem a little bit early, but I think you're right. I think this is a player that is a rising dynasty asset, and this might be the cheapest you can draft them for a while, for the next couple years at least. And I'm going to take A.J. Brown here in the second round as the seventh wide receiver off the board. I know that's high, but I think it's good value for him.
Yeah, I would have probably considered him. Actually, I was planning on taking him, so I would have considered him a lot. It's back to me, so I'm gonna go ahead and go Clyde Edwards-Helaire here. I think it's a good value. I think long term he's gonna have value. Yep.
Okay, I've cooled on Clyde. I probably would have taken him not till the third round, I think.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm a little cold on him right now.
It's understandable. I am too. I think he was going in the fifth pick overall before the season started.
Yeah, he was sneaking up there. Yeah,
his hype definitely got a little bit unhinged.
This spot right here, there's two guys in between.
Chubb
is one of them.
Dang, I got it. Miles Sanders.
Nope. Mike Evans is the other one.
Oh my gosh.
But I'm going to take Nick Chubb here. Nick Chubb is a monster of a running back. Yes, he was just injured, but he came back and he looked strong. He's up there in the conversation with Derrick Henry as a pure runner. If you had to pick a running back for your team, any running back in the NFL, Nick Chubb's name would have to come up in that conversation as the player you would want as your one running back. So who are you going to pick?
Let's see. Which team am I drafting for? So Ezekiel Elliott.
Yeah, you took Zeke in the first round. Though I will say, in a dynasty startup, I'm not paying attention to filling out positions, what I took in the previous round, pretty much at all, as long as I fill out my team. You taking Zeke there doesn't affect my second pick at all in a dynasty startup because it's just all about value.
Well, I agree with that to a point. You gotta have some balance, right?
Yeah. But I think it's even less important in Dynasty. Like these are all tradable. Everything's about value. And then if you have superstar wide receivers, you've got tradable assets there. Like in a startup draft, I think value is supreme, more so than in a redraft league, obviously.
It certainly matters more in redraft where you go in for the title that year or else your team is gone.
Now, like that being said, if I took 6 wide receivers in a row, I'm definitely going running back in the 7th round. But
right.
That's about where I draw the line.
All right. I'm going to go the guy we mentioned earlier. I'm going to go Ridley here.
Ridley. Damn. Stole my next pick.
I was trying to decide between him and CeeDee Lamb. And if you don't take CeeDee Lamb, I'm probably going to take him on the next one. So
damn. You like CeeDee Lamb more than Amari Cooper?
Yes. 100%.
That is tough in Dynasty, but I think you might be correct. I'm not going to do it, though. I'm going to take the Dynasty tight end one. He's been the tight end one the previous 4 years, I think. He's going to do it again this year. He'll probably do it again next year and the year after. I'm drafting Travis Kelce here.
Love your Travis Kelce in the 2nd round.
Oh, and I just happened to draft him on the same team that I took Tyreek Hill. But you know what? That doesn't even bother me. You can have Tyreek. If you had a team of all Chiefs, you'd be good to go.
He's 31 years old.
I don't care. Does he look like he's lost a step?
I'm not adding commentary to it. I'm just simply sharing the information.
Yeah. No, I hear you. But I think he'll be the number 1 dynasty or the number 1 tight end this year, and he'll probably do it again next year and the year after.
I agree. One thing I do consider in Dynasty is like how easy it is to trade. We kind of touched on it a little bit earlier with the running backs versus wide receivers.
Yeah.
And so one thing that I consider with like someone like Travis Kelce is I think it's similar to like someone like Zach Ertz a few years ago, right? Where it's like Zach Ertz was close to number 1. Maybe you could definitely argue that Kelce is more prolific, but every the 2 or 3 dynasty leagues I'm in, I know that the Zach Ertz owners had trouble trading him because he's old, and so like when you
he's old and not putting up the production that.
But I was talking about like the last couple of years. Trouble trading, not necessarily right now at his like lowest value, but I think perception is important here because your league mates, even though like Simon, you're like absolutely correct that he's going to give you like 3 to 4 to 5 more years of excellent production.
Yeah,
it's hard to convince your league mates like, oh, this is a worthy investment.
Yeah, I completely get that. I think the key with players like that, probably with Zach Ertz too, is in Dynasty, it's all a balancing act of figuring out when to sell. You wait too long and you miss that window, and you miss it hard usually. Yeah. Like if you miss the window, the drop off is not slight. It's not like, oh, you lost a little bit of value. Like usually you hit it and then it just tanks, and you got to take what you can get. Todd Gurley, Lev Bell, these kinds of pieces. Zach Ertz, that's a great example.
Johnson, Zach Ertz, yeah.
We'll see. It looked like whenever Tyreek Hill was going through the legal troubles, it looked like the same kind of thing there too.
Yeah.
So you got to be careful. You got to, in Dynasty, it's all about figuring out when that value is peaked and then capitalizing on it.
Yep.
So who are you taking here, John Lucas?
I'm going to go ahead and go with I'm going to go with Miles Sanders, actually.
It's a good pick. He's one of the running backs left in this range that is really tempting to me.
Yeah, I like him a lot. I think if he can stay healthy, he'll be valuable next 4 or 5 years. Yeah.
Now, what I'm curious about is there's a couple rookie running backs that I'm curious if they'll go in the next round and a half. Taylor, Swift, Gibson. Are any of them top 3 round picks in a dynasty startup, do you think?
I think so. I think Swift is getting up there.
What about Taylor?
I think Taylor as well. Who was the other one? Gibson? I'm less excited about Gibson for some reason. I don't necessarily know why, but I don't see as much like staying value.
Yeah.
Do you agree?
I understand that. Yeah, I think the fact that J.D. McKissick is getting a lot of that work ahead of him speaks volumes about what's going on there. He's a great back. I just don't think he's ever going to be like a workhorse for that team or any team. That doesn't mean
I
doesn't
wouldn't
have
take him top 3 when there's
no.
so many good wide receivers on the board.
Yeah, that doesn't mean he doesn't have dynasty value. Like I have Antonio Gibson in multiple dynasty leagues, and I'm very happy that he's on my team.
Him from me.
Swiped him from you. I did. Okay, it is my pick. Mike Evans is still sitting on the board. Amari Cooper is still sitting on the board staring at me. Though there's one running back looking at me that I think there's a pretty big drop off after.
Leonard Fournette.
It is not Leonard Fournette.
A.J. Dillon.
It is not A.J. Dillon.
I got it.
I'm going to go ahead and take the running back. I'm going to take Joe Mixon here.
That's a good pick.
I still believe in his talent. I know it comes in bursts, but he was looking good this season. He got injured. He was getting it together. Sorry, looking good is the wrong way to put it. The beginning of the season, it was rough. It was rough sledding for Joe Mixon at the beginning of the year, but he was starting to put it together. Gio's had a couple good games in that backfield. I think the Cincinnati offense is going to get it going with Joe Burrow, and then Joe Mixon's going to have a success in that backfield. I like his talent. I like this second round price for him. I'm taking Joe Mixon there.
Very nice.
What you got?
It's my turn. All right. So I got Christian McCaffrey. Now I'm trying to decide between Jonathan Taylor, CeeDee Lamb. I think I'm going to go CeeDee Lamb here.
CeeDee Lamb. Now, JL, what you're doing is what I think I'm overcorrecting because I tend to have an affinity for rookies and super young players, and it's bitten me in the butt a lot of times. Though I have found success with it in other leagues, it's saved me. The Nick Chubb, Phillip Lindsay rookie year brought me a title. Justin Jefferson has been saving me in a lot of leagues this year. Brandon Ayuk is saving me in a league this year, but I've been duped by the rookie too many times. So I think maybe I'm overcorrecting, and you're probably right with that pick. That's probably a good spot for him because he looked unreal, like from the start on that Dallas team. And Dak's coming back. Who knows how long Cooper's going to be there? I think CeeDee Lamb's probably the future. I know Cooper signed a big contract, but I was reading somewhere or someone was saying that there's an out after 1 or 2 years for the Cowboys, like a pretty easy out for them. Mm-hmm. So I do think in the next 1 to 2 years, you could see Amari Cooper on a new team. They may say bye-bye to that contract and you see Amari Cooper somewhere else.
Yep.
We'll see though. So now it's my pick. I've been flirting with it. I've been saying I'm going to do it. We're doing it. Mike Evans is the pick right here. He's still young. He's still an unbelievable talent. He's a massive dude. He's always going to be a threat for a touchdown. I'm taking Mike Evans. I love him. I love Mike Evans.
You probably could have waited till the 12th pick in the 3rd round. I probably still wouldn't have taken him.
Really?
He's cold. He's cold. He's bold.
Just got an Amber Alert. Everyone be on the lookout for a silver or a 2014 green Chevrolet Sonic.
All right, so it's my pick now. And I got
you got two picks.
All right. I'm gonna go Jonathan Taylor. That's the first one. So Alvin Kamara, Jonathan Taylor. I really like that stack. And then I'm gonna go DJ Moore. Is that who you were gonna go?
Yeah, I thought he was gonna sneak back to me because he's had a disappointing year.
He has had a disappointing year, but I think the talent is there.
He reminds me of AJ Green. Like just watching him play, he reminds me of AJ Green in his prime. And it's so much fun to watch because I don't really get to watch AJ Green anymore. It makes me sad to watch AJ Green. Yeah. So whenever DJ Moore's playing well, I watch it and pretend like it's AJ Moore. Yeah, I love that pick. You know I love DJ Moore. He's one of my favorite players in the NFL. He's so much fun to watch. And it's been a rough year, but I think he's one of the top talents. I think that's a great pick. Similar vein of these super talented wide receivers, kind of young. I'm going to take another super young wide receiver that is maybe more talented than DJ Moore. He could be a top 5 wide receiver talent. He's playing with awful quarterbacks this year, and he's still balling out. If they can get that quarterback situation settled, Terry McLaurin's going to be a top 5 wide receiver. He is unreal. Where would you value Terry McLaurin?
That's a good question. I don't know.
Because like let's look at the guys still on the board, wide receiver wise. We've got Stephon Diggs, Allen Robinson, Amari Cooper,
I value him.
Keenan Allen,
I value him more than Allen Robinson.
DJ Chark, Kenny Galladay.
It's not that bad of a pick.
Not that bad of a pick. Oh, thank you so much.
It's a good pick. It's a good pick. I just wasn't expecting it, but no, it's a good pick. I have him in this general tier of wide receivers.
Yeah,
I would take, and I will take Stephon Diggs over him though.
Okay, is that who you're taking here?
That's who I'm taking here.
Okay. It's interesting seeing how this looks different even from obviously it looks different from the redraft leagues we've done, but just the perception has changed in like 6 weeks since we did the redraft one of some of these players.
Yeah.
And now values are a little bit stickier in dynasty leagues than in redraft leagues. It takes a little bit more than 1 week to really change an opinion, but still opinions have moved a lot. If you guys want to go see those old drafts, you can find them on our YouTube channel and on Twitch, Front Yard Fantasy. I think we did a rookie draft. We redid the rookie draft. We did a PPR draft. I think we did a super flex draft. I think those are all the drafts we did. You can find all those on our YouTube channel and on our Twitch. Maybe. They might not be on. Otherwise, you can go watch our other videos. Okay, it's my pick. Just gave you Diggs. I think that's a great pick. Then you know what we're doing here? You know what we're doing here.
Kittle.
We're taking my boy Amari Cooper. While CeeDee Lamb might be the new hotness there, I still think Amari Cooper is an incredibly talented wide receiver, and he's not that old. I think he's got quite a few years left of top-tier production.
Did you know Kenny Galladay is 27?
No, but I think I would have guessed around there.
That's why.
Are you shocked by that? Did you think he was older or younger?
I thought he was younger. So someone like Amari Cooper, he's been in the league a while. And I always remember because he's our age, because I think he didn't go to college, right? He went straight to the league.
He played for Alabama.
He did? Okay.
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
He went to the NFL pretty young. Kenny Galladay it feels like he was just a rookie not that long ago, but maybe not.
Oh, I feel like Amari Cooper's still 23.
He is.
I think because it took so long for
he's our age.
Him to like reach that potential, like to hit that point where I was excited for him, and then it was like, okay, now it's his rookie year. Like I feel like his age reset when he went to Dallas.
So Raheem Mostert is just like gained 10 years.
Yeah, 100%. Okay,
that's a rookie year.
Your pick, John Luke.
All right.
You got to go George Kittle, right? Or are you not doing that? That's early.
I'm thinking about it.
Because I can't do it with the next pick.
You should. Travis Kelce, George Kittle.
Hey, you know what?
Tight ends.
Honestly, that wouldn't be. You could flex the other one of those guys and be perfectly happy with it every week.
That's true. Man, this is tough. I think I will go Kittle here.
Kittle, yeah. If I didn't have Kelce, Kittle would have 100% been my next pick.
I should have gone. Okay, I should have.
You want to change it?
I probably would have went Galladay. I'm thinking about it. He's still on the board, right?
Yep. And
I'll go Kittle with the next. Just because if I have running back, I don't want my wide receiver one in a dynasty to be, you know.
Oh, and you're just banking on the fact that I won't take him with my next pick.
I mean, you might, and that's fine. It's still a 12-man dynasty, and so tight ends still don't mean that much to me.
Okay. Kenny Galladay. So far that team is Saquon Barkley, Miles Sanders, Kenny Galladay. That's a great start to a team. Man, do I do it? Yeah. I think this is the point where you start looking at these top tier.
This like whole exercise is really tough because it's like you're forced. Like I probably wouldn't never pick Miles Sanders in an actual dynasty startup because I don't have to pick for 6 out of 12 teams. But like you hit a point where you have to draft some of these guys, so it's an interesting exercise.
Yeah. And just looking at how this draft's laying out, I was looking at the running backs, the wide receivers. I'll take the best quarterback available for Dynasty, a guy who's going to be a stud for probably 10 years plus.
His team 6 strategy is wild.
Oh,
Tyreek
yeah.
Hill.
And then this team has Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, and Patrick Mahomes.
He just went straight KC.
Okay, but can you even say that's a bad strategy?
I mean, partially.
I mean, on your bye week, it's going to suck. But
well, you're certainly limited to upside, but
I mean, but adding Patrick
bad.
Mahomes there kind of doubles your upside as well. Know what I mean?
Well, sort of. It also doubles your downside with that.
It does double your downside. Yeah, 100%. If they have a bad week, you're going to struggle. But if you're going to
stack any team, it's this team. So
I was going to say, if you're going to pick a team to hinge your dynasty team success around, it's probably the Kansas City Chiefs with Patrick Mahomes, Tyreek Hill, and Travis Kelce.
I would certainly personally never take that strategy, but
it wasn't on purpose. Just at each spot, that was the value I liked best, and it worked out.
Yeah, I also probably would not go QB for a while in a dynasty, a 12-team dynasty, because QBs are not as valuable.
I get that. I think you'll see a couple go early whenever you do a startup, though. You'll see one or two. You'll see Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Kyler Murray go in these first couple rounds.
There's always
probably
one or two league mates who can't help themselves.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, you're up, John Luke.
All right, I'm going to go Kittle here.
Kittle?
Yeah, it's a little more balanced team, so I'll consider it.
Okay, this is where it starts getting a little tricky.
4 years younger than Kelce.
I think this is where we talked about him previously. He's playing tonight. He's an incredible talent, but he's got poop water throwing him the ball. And our boy Nick Foles, I think the Bears will probably get the quarterback situation worked out a little bit better at least. I'm going to take Allen Robinson.
Nice.
Just for the talent. In the third round, like towards the end of the third round, I think that's incredible value.
Yeah, I agree. All right, back to me. I want to do it, but I shouldn't. I'm gonna go Justin Jefferson here.
Justin Jefferson, out of left field. You think he's the next big thing?
I think he'll be relevant for a long time. And I love the age. I love the upside. I was trying to debate between him and Lockett. Lockett's not very old. And Keenan Allen, who's still more correct. Keenan Allen and what was the second name I said?
Lockett.
Yeah, Keenan Allen and Lockett are about the same age, within a year of each other. Which Keenan Allen's like the opposite. Like he seems so much older in my mind than he actually is.
He seems like he's 33.
Yeah, but he's only 28. Same age as Mike Evans, or within a year, Mike Evans. I like Justin Jefferson here, and I'm hoping that he can be as relevant, if not more relevant, than Tyler Lockett over the 7-year gap that they have.
Okay. I'm going to take a running back we talked about earlier. I wondered if he would get drafted. At this point, I love his value. I'm going to take DeAndre Swift.
Oh, that is a really good value. I kind of forgot he was on the board.
Yeah, some of these guys are sneaky down there because they haven't put up the best seasons overall. But that doesn't mean their dynasty value is not sky high. DeAndre Swift, prior to the NFL draft, was my RB1. I loved him coming out of college. Obviously, after the draft, some guys moved ahead of him. Jonathan Taylor behind that incredible Colts offensive line. CEH on the Chiefs moved ahead of him. But DeAndre Swift stayed in that number 3 spot for me ahead of J.K. Dobbins, who I guess is another player one could consider here.
And that is who I'm going to take.
Really?
Yep.
Dobbins, you're not worried about his usage so far this year?
It's
as a
temporary.
rookie?
It's temporary. He's a rookie. I'm not worried about it.
I buy into that. Now, this last pick, it's kind of tricky. There's a couple guys I'm looking at. Tyler Lockett, you mentioned him. Another Wookiee wide receiver that I'm considering here. T. Higgins looks like he may be like Joe Burrow's
that's who I was going to take.
Friend, right? Like T. Higgins could be that could be a dynamic duo.
Now looking at that team that's like 3 running backs, I probably would have taken T. Higgins here because he is literally next on my list.
Yeah, Tyler Lockett, T. Higgins, and then there's a running back I think we're forgetting about, JL. Austin Eckler. I know I was a Austin Eckler hater in the offseason, but he looked great before he got injured. I don't know if we can keep passing up the Austin Eckler value in the 3rd round. That seems nuts. But I'm going to do it, and I'm taking T. Higgins.
Nice.
Sorry,
Solid,
Austin
solid
Eckler.
team. Chris Godwin, Derrick Henry, T. Higgins. It's a solid start.
Yeah, I'd be happy with that.
Dang, I really regret taking Dobbins now.
I'm going to screenshot this and post it on Twitter so you guys can see the first 3 rounds of this Dynasty startup if you want to look at a little bit more. Some interesting teams. Let's see. Justin came in with a question for us at the end of this stream. Who wins the trade? Hunt and Crowder for J-Rob. Hunt and Crowder.
Yeah.
100% for me. I think Hunt for J-Rob straight up. I would still take the Hunt side, but it's close.
I wouldn't.
You would take the J-Rob side?
Yeah.
I'm all aboard the Hunt and Chubb train for the rest of the season. Ride them out. They're going to deliver fantasy championships to people. Would you take Hunt and Crowder over J-Rob, though?
Yes. Easy. Easy.
Yep, I agree. Let's see. Ooh, baby T. Higgins. Love it.
Oh, yeah.
Woo-hoo! We love us some tea. Gets us hot and bothered. We love us some hot tea.
Now, Simon, I think you texted me this weekend a T. Higgins related text. What was that?
You were right. You were drafting him in every redraft league this year. I thought he wasn't going to be able to make a real impact on fantasy leagues or fantasy teams in his rookie season. With Tyler Boyd and AJ Green coming back, I thought T. Higgins would maybe have a couple good games, but he's a real deal in his rookie year. You want him on your fantasy. You're not benching him. If you have him, T. Higgins is in your starting lineup every week. JL, you were right.
Thank you. Thank you.
Congratulations.
And this is, if you like our show, check out Drinking and Talking Fantasy Football. Excellent show. Good friends of the show.
Very handsome.
Very handsome. Not quite as handsome as Simon and I, but good second place. So you can.
Whenever Josh is here, then they're of equal handsomeness as us because Josh brings us down a level. But
the average down.
Okay. Apple MVP 21. Any specific players that you find yourselves always downplaying their success? Drafted Allen Robinson 3 years ago for wide receiver depth. Tore his ACL week 1. Haven't been interested in him since. JL, I know, has one, but he actually finally came around. He came around this year on his most hated player, his most faded player. Maybe not hated, but your most faded. You always faded him no matter what. I'll tell you, JL's Derrick Henry. He was so out on Derrick Henry. No matter what that man did. He was like, not touching it. But you came around. Yep.
Got to stay flexible.
Got to stay flexible. I'm not. I don't stretch very much. Let's see. Players I'm out on. I also, this year, I've had a little bit of a come to Jesus moment with some of the players that I was out on, and I'm fully embracing them now. Austin Eckler and Aaron Jones were players that I just wasn't touching. I just didn't believe in it. I didn't think it was sustainable. I thought they were just fill-in running backs. And that's so stupid watching what they did on the field. Like you go back and watch the tape and they look incredible. It wasn't just an opportunity thing. Trying to think if there's other players I'm just hands off on that I just never touch. Chris Godwin, I think I do downplay his success because I'm so high on Mike Evans. I love Mike Evans. He's one of my favorite receivers in the NFL, and I probably downplay Chris Godwin too much. Any others for you, John Luke?
Yeah, there's a bunch I'm trying to remember now. I cannot. Amari Cooper's kind of one of those. I know Simon's going to kill me for saying that.
That's okay. I get it.
Austin Eckler is definitely one. I just don't know. At least in Dynasty, like I'm not confident that like the value will be there a long time. Alex Collins was one for a long time. I know that's like not relevant anymore, but like the whole time he was hyped, I just kept going, this is going to all come crashing down. Like this is as clear as day.
One that might have been cemented this year, and I got to try to break it in the offseason. No, DJ Chark. I'm having trouble buying in for next year already. I feel like I was so excited for him, and then it just it just didn't happen. So I'll try to keep that bias out of my head and look at it objectively, but I can see that happening.
Alshon Jeffrey.
Yeah, I'm out. But I don't think that's the same. I don't think that's the same thing. I think you're right on that one.
What was for the longest time? Another one that I was really right on was oh my gosh, what's his name? He was alongside of Emmanuel Sanders in Denver. Starts with a D.
Oh my gosh, this is a big Demaryius Thomas.
Demaryius Thomas, yes.
Oh my goodness, why couldn't we think of his name? That's a big one.
Know. For years, he kept getting drafted in like the first few rounds, and I was just hands off. he gives you like one blow up week and then like 3 weeks of like 2 points, and he just did that year after year. But somehow like short term memory, we just always forgotten. He's one that's just completely never did anything, never drafted him, never traded for him, and it worked out.
I think another one for me, and this one is probably true for a lot of people because every year his ADP is just bottom of the barrel and he outperforms it. Julian Edelman, I was just never willing to draft him. I thought, okay, he's old. It's not going to happen. It's not exciting. And every year he outperformed his ADP. And every year I didn't get to benefit from it.
Yep.
I think that's it, though. Okay. Before we go off, JL, score prediction for tonight's game. Vikings, Bears. Who wins? What's the score?
Oh, my gosh. Bears, Vikings. I have no idea. You gave me no heads up for that. I think the Bears probably win.
Think so?
I don't know what the score is going to be, though. What's the over-under?
I'm pulling it up right now. Let's see. The over-under is 44.
Okay.
The Bears are 3.5-point underdogs.
Okay. I will say 28-21. No. I will say 28-21. Bears.
28-21 Bears?
Yep.
Okay. I'll say 31-14 Vikings.
31-14. Wow.
That's my prediction.
It's totally
31-14
opposite
Vikings, and you said 28-24 Bears?
28-21.
28-21 Bears. Okay, we'll see who's right tomorrow. Loser has to sing an improv song about the game on the spot. You can't plan it ahead of time because we're going to give you a couple words you have to use.
What if I already have like a full repertoire of Bears-related songs?
Well, I'm going to throw some curveballs in there with the words that you have to use.
Okay.
Well, if you guys want to follow us on Twitter, you can find me at FYF Simon and John Luke at FYF John Luke. And you can find our third missing host, Josh, at FYF Josh. And we are Front Yard Fantasy. On Twitter, it is Front Yard FYF. Follow us on YouTube, subscribe, and on Twitch, Front Yard Fantasy. Check out our videos. Let us know what you like, what you don't like. And we'll start putting out more content like that for you guys. We will be back tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern for Week 10 Fantasy Horse. Josh is going down. So come in, test your knowledge on this week's fantasy scores, impact, games, results. See if you know more than we do. And we'll see you then. Said too many times.
Get back safe, Josh, from Mesopotamia.
Trading makes fantasy fun.